everyone, welcome to this new episode of our Student Spotlight series where we're able to showcase some of the work our past students have done. I'm Charlotte, one of the outreach coordinators here at CCIR, and it's our pleasure today to have Bruce with us. So firstly, Bruce, can you just introduce yourself? So tell us where you're from, what year you are in school, and then what made you seek out CCIR.
I'm Bruce. Currently, I'm a high school sophomore, and I attended CCIR's 2025 summer session, and I've heard of CCIR being a really well-structured and high-level experience, and that's why I reached out to CCIR and applied for the research program.
Okay, great. So we'll first start off with discussing your course that you did. So you did our one-on-one mentorship where we designed the entire course around your specific research interest and research topic. So can you give us a general overview first of kind of what your course was about, who your mentor was, and how you decided on that topic?
Oh, yeah, totally. So my course was with Dr. Koskin, and he mainly focuses on stem cell biology. Particularly, he focuses on generating cardiac organoids through his research on the heart of zebrafish. And so that was why my kind of experience was really kind of focused on stem cell biology. And because I was particularly interested in genetics as well before I came to this program. And however, I didn't know that genetics and cardiac organoids were really related before I came here. So that was why I decided to kind of go with the flow with my professor and kind of just take this as a learning opportunity. But eventually, I found out that there were actually really close connections between generating cardiac organoids and the limitations of them with genetic markers and the activation of certain genes. And that was why I decided to focus solely on the limitations and providing future directions for generating cardiac organoids.
Interesting. That seems like a very niche topic. Did you have experience with genetics before CCIR, either in school or in any other kind of learning setting?
Yeah, I've because my school doesn't really offer advanced bio courses until like junior or senior year. I self-studied some of the MIT genetics courses in my freshman year, and that was why I was particularly interested in that.
Interesting. And then for those listening that might not know, can you explain a little bit more in detail, kind of what your research topic was about and go into kind of the definitions of those terms?
Oh yeah, of course. So I focused mainly on the limitations and providing future directions for generating cardiac organoid. And in my review paper, I focused mainly on four major challenges for the cardiac organoids. So they were immaturity, which is basically when you're generating a heart model, you have you instead of generating a model that replicates an adult heart, you have a model that is kind of more fetal-like, which have certain limitations such as disorganized sarcomeres or calcium handling problems. So the second one is heterogeneity. This can be understood as the challenge of trying to reproduce all of the cell types in the heart. And this challenge is kind of really significant because when researchers follow the same protocols, they might not even produce the exact same cardiac or heart model. And this really complicates the idea of actually applying this into medical fields where precision and accuracy is essential. Thirdly, you have the lack of vascular networks. So imagine a heart without blood vessels. So it's only a model and can't really replicate the conditions of a patient or it can't really undergo disease modeling or really advanced applications. And then lastly is cost because stem cell biology, it's still undergoing research. It's still a really costly research to conduct.
Interesting. And then can you walk us through your research methods? I know you said that you did a literature review. Have you had experience conducting that type of research before, and what was the process of finding data like for you?
Oh, this was my first kind of extensive literature review, and besides for other like textbooks that I've read, I've never really done something quite like this before. So at the start, I found this to be really, really difficult because you have to look for exactly the type of content that you wish that you're looking at because you would see almost every other sentence to be cited in formal review papers, and that turned out to be really challenging. So my method for that was just going on PubMed and typing in keywords such as induced pluripotent stem cells, organoids, um, vascular networks, and combinations of those words to look for papers that align with what I'm looking for.
Interesting. And then in terms of the kind of findings that you mentioned a little bit earlier, were those kind of what you were expecting to find? Was there anything surprising or anything else that you want to discuss in terms of your findings?
Oh yeah, totally. So my expected findings were like general findings such as the how organoids are generated or the limitations of those organoids because it's really well known and it's really studied already. However, the unexpected part was that genes actually played a like had close connections with the generation of these heart models, and I actually kind of switched my topic like kind of like at the last minute because I really want because my paper wasn't kind of really focusing on anything because all the other review papers were extensive literature reviews that would be more inclusive than mine. So, and because I read over a really recent article that said the gene called IBIF1 would and using that gene, you would be able to generate vascular networks in cardiac organoids. And the scalability of that research was also really high. That was when I realized that I could be giving future directions instead of focusing on an extensive literature review. And that was kind of unexpected, but I was glad how it turned out.
Interesting. And then in terms of your findings, can you give us a what you think in terms of kind of what how your findings influence the current knowledge that we have about the field or any importance for the general public?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the extensive literature reviews on cardiac organoids, even although they do mention limitations and to a certain extent future directions, they don't really synthesize like different aspects of different research fields, and they don't really kind of apply that knowledge to stem cell biology in particular because it's still a field that's going under research. Although people do recognize the potential of having models exactly capsulating the condition of patients, it's still go under research. And so my study is kind of more unique and provides kind of a new kind of provide new insights as I combine both genetics and structure and other parts of biology that could be studied in the future with stem cell biology.
Nice. That's very cool that you're able to contribute so much to the field at such a young age. And in following up on that, do you think that, or given that, you're able to conduct a conduct such a unique research project at this stage as a, very early researcher, I think that's definitely one of the benefits of CCR that we're able to provide students such niche experiences. What was that like? I know you said earlier that your high school didn't really provide this subject and you had to kind of search on that independently. What was it like being able to access this with a mentor that has such expertise in the area?
It felt really kind of um I felt really nice to be with someone who actually have experience and who can actually guide you through this process. I was actually kind of relieved when I got to this program because in the past for my high school experience I've always been self-studying what I'm interested in, particularly in genetics and general biology knowledge. And because of that, having a mentor who's giving you structured meetings and telling you what to study really gave me a unique learning opportunity and experience. And to be fair, I really grew a lot, not in just the knowledge that I've gained, but also in the skills that I've acquired throughout this program. And I think that's what really makes CCR really valuable.
Great. And then in terms of publication, have you had any experience yet with our publication team? Do you plan on trying to publish your findings?
Oh yeah, they've reached out to me and sent over journals where I could submit to, and currently I'm still editing and formatting my paper, and they've been really, really helpful with also not just publication, but also scheduling. And the publication team also does follow-ups on me quite often. And I feel like that's really helpful, just keeping me on track and doing what I'm supposed to do.
Nice, and definitely good luck with the publication process. So now we're going to shift to discussing your general experience in the program. Do you think that this course has maybe informed or shaped how you think of your path moving forward at all, either professionally or academically?
So, totally, because I've never really had this kind of experience before, and I feel like trying to publish my paper is really something that a lot of scholars kind of like that's kind of like one of their main goals, and CCR is really helpful, and I just feel like it was a really valuable experience because they provided me with so many learning opportunities.
Great. And then in terms of the research itself and, conducting a literature review at this level, how did that compare to projects or papers that you've done in high school in the past?
So I feel like this program kind of is pretty different from other programs that I've attended. I was also doing a pioneer program and a offline program at UCI simultaneously, and I feel like this experience was like just vastly different. Um, so you have this being a review paper being and not only did it give me this the knowledge, it also gave me key skills such as trying avoiding plagiarism, you referencing and writing a formal tone, while the other programs kind of more emphasized more independent data analysis and things like that. So these were all really valuable experiences for me.
Nice. That's great that you were able to kind of combine the various programs. Just a few more questions. The first one, so in our programs, we really like to emphasize the aspect of mentorship as opposed to the traditional teacher, as I'm sure you're aware. Can you tell us what your experience was like as you moved from the first half of the course, where it's a lot more learning about the subject, into the more research-oriented second half of the course, and how your mentor helped guide you through that?
Yeah, totally. So as my professor mainly focuses on stem cell biology, um, and I've never really had past knowledge of this particular field. He was able to provide me with resources to read and learn. He also spent part of the meetings explaining key terms and um, concepts to me, which was really helpful. And I feel like the transition from more knowledge-based to more research-based part of this program was kind of really smooth because once I've had the knowledge, he was able to give me some kind of format, kind of other review papers to look at. And that really made this transition smooth because once I had the knowledge, I could follow a similar format and write my paper. And on top of that, he was also really flexible with me kind of changing the topic last minute because I realized that there were close connections with what I was passionate about, and he was happy with that too. So.
Nice. And then my last question for you, what would you tell someone who was looking into these programs? What would you say is the kind of the benefit of doing a program like this, especially as a high school student?
I would say the key benefit is that you will be able to gain a lot of key skills for research, and you will also be able to learn a lot about a particular field you're interested in or something completely new, completely different. However, it's going to expand your view of topics and expand that knowledge network that I always think about. And I feel like, yeah, I would definitely recommend this program. And it's always helpful to have something in mind going into this program, like something that you're passionate about or something that you really want to know more about. And that would definitely help.
I think that's great advice. So that brings us to the end of our spotlight interview. Thank you so much again for joining with me, and congratulations on your nomination to our series.